Good evening, Oxnard. Happy Friday, TGIF. My name is Paul Carganilla. I'm the Community Affairs Manager for the Oxnard Police Department. And for the next few hours, I'll be taking you right here in the Instagram stories on a virtual ride-along. It's actually our first ever virtual ride-along with a sergeant. So drop in with us in real time as we work patrol this evening. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. And if we have time along the way, we'll get to as many as we can. But yeah, this is exciting. Come along with us. Some of you might remember when I was working as a dispatcher and I would do some public service announcements from dispatch with the help of my buddy, then Officer Mike Wood. Now he's Sergeant Mike Wood.
Hey Oxnard, thanks for joining us tonight.
And we're back together, making videos and being out there in the virtual ride-alongs. Thanks for taking us, Sarge.
You got it. Looking forward to a good night.
Now, I usually, at this point, at the beginning of the ride-along, ask the beat officer I'm working with what the boundaries of their beat are. But since you're a sergeant, can you just explain to us briefly, nutshell version, what does this sergeant do out in the field?
So I'm the field supervisor for the night shift. So I'm working 6 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. and I am here to oversee the officers and the calls in the whole city. So I'm a little bit different because I respond citywide. So I have every beat in the book.
Let's do this. The tree is lit. All right, you just lit the tree.
Yeah, we stopped by the memorial sites on Victoria Avenue, just south of Lewis Park. We went ahead and lit the tree up, get it going for the holiday season here. Remember, Jim, tomorrow, Saturday the 2nd of December, is the 30-year anniversary of the tragic killing of Detective Jim O'Brien. So we're out here letting him, the public know who passed by, to please keep Jim and his family in your thoughts and prayers as we remember 30 years later.
We have a question here. Do you need a college degree to apply to be an Oxnard PD officer?
That's a great question. They are not required. You have to have a high school diploma or equivalent. It is always great to have a college degree or anything further as well. And we do hope that you do take a look at the list of jobs available through the city of Oxnard, especially with the PDs. We do offer an arrangement of different positions from TSA, CSO, dispatch to officer as well. That's a great question.
Check out joinoxnardpd.com. You can find links to all of our hiring pages there. And yes, we are hiring. Another question, can you do these more often? Like once a month? I love these. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy them. Yeah, we will definitely do them more often in 2024. That is a personal promise that I am making. And I want to give a shout out to our friend and supporter, Robert Vorba, who is out there. I know he's watching, and he said we need to do more of these too, and I agree. Love giving you all a glimpse into the patrol officer shift. Where are we heading now, Sergeant Wood?
We're pulling up to a family problem over on Pleasant Valley Road. This is the second call this date, so I want to see why we're responding multiple times and if there's anything else we can provide.
Now, obviously on these virtual ride-alongs, we can't do them like live streamed because there's so much sensitive information and there can be very sensitive content if we just showed everything throughout the shift. But without giving any specifics, how did the family problem go?
It was fine. It was already settled by the time we pulled up there, so that's glad to hear, and glad the officers were able to diffuse and take care of that problem as well. As Paul mentioned, even though there's live streaming and stuff like that, we do offer ride-alongs with our community members. You can go to oxnardpd.org and you actually can get a ride-along form and come out with us and actually see it live yourself.
Where are we headed to next?
We are heading to either a priority missing call around the corner or a domestic. We currently have several calls that are pending that kind of lead over from our day shifts. So our job right now is to get some of these calls down and help some of these people out.
So we just responded to a missing juvenile call. Everything's okay. Thankfully, there's just a misunderstanding. But the best part of it was Sergeant Wood got to use his Mixteco knowledge. How'd that go?
It went okay.
What did you tell them in Mixeco?
I thought I said hello. So we'll work on that one.
How does hello sound?
I thought it was Deshave. Apparently I'm a little off.
They looked so confused. Oh, it was priceless. Where are we heading now?
We're on our way to an overdose. Fire's on the way over right now, and we're going to head over there and see how we can be assistance. I already have a couple officers on their way. Oftentimes officers will get there and either provide medical aid or naloxone, which is known as Narcan. But we're heading over right now to find out if there's anything that we need to do as a supervisor to help the situation, or see if there's any other further investigation needed, or any other units need to come out there. So we went out to this overdose with EMS. It really is treated as a medical emergency. We just want to make sure several things. If the person tragically does pass, we have to treat it as a death investigation. If it involves children. We do have a major problem with overdoses, especially with opiates within our town. A lot of people don't know that when officers or EMS administers Naloxone, which is Narcan, that affect's only there for just a little bit, so you can re-overdose. So in this case, the person was revived with Naloxone, and they were transported to a local hospital via ambulance to get further treatment. So we're going to walk away from this one and head to the next call, which is probably going to be a traffic collision involving an impaired driver. We just went to another overdose. It was a call of a man down in the alley. Another sergeant was actually around the corner and went over there and saw that he was definitely not awake and was suffering from another opiate-related overdose. EMS actually was already called for the person, so they actually made it there at the same time and rendered aid to him, administered, once again, Narcan, Naloxone, and the person is now in stable condition. But once again, this is our second overdose of the night, back-to-back, and it's already at 8 o'clock.
Gassing up, very important. How long does it take to become a police officer?
Well, it can take anywhere between 2 to 3 months, maybe. Depends on where you're at in the process, the background, the hiring. We do run 4 academies a year, so we are definitely hiring. We definitely are in need of police officers. Please check out our website and see how you can become part of the Oxnard Police family.
Join OxnardPD.com. What's the best part about being a sergeant?
Being a sergeant, every day is completely different. I really enjoy the aspects of being a leader to the younger officers. I work weekend nights, and the majority of the officers on my shift are recent graduates from the academy, as well as our field training program. So helping mold these newer and younger minds is a big passion of mine. And also the fact that every night is completely different. We've been on now for a couple hours, and it's been very busy, call to call for pretty much everybody. So we're hoping everyone has a safe night tonight. Hey Oxnard, we're over here in the Cal Giesler area. We're on our next call. We're in an injury traffic collision. This collision involving most likely a person who failed to stop at a stop sign. The officers right now are taking a report, taking statements, as well as are going to be evaluating one of the drivers who was possibly under the influence of alcohol. One of the witnesses stated that the person was throwing beer cans, which was found in the bushes at a nearby residence. So officers are going to evaluate that person right now. With that said, regardless of this person is found to be DUI or not, it's a strong reminder on a Friday night that we need to make sure that we have a designated driver, we're responsible, and we're using online ride services. Thank you so much.
Okay. No tiene ninguna pregunta. Okay. Empiece, por favor.
Sarge, there's a rifle in plain view in the back of the car.
Okay.
But it looks like a possible air rifle.
So as you can see, breathalyzer results are in 09, California. I'm going to ask you guys a question now. What is the legal limit in California? I hope you guys can send your responses and learn about the statute limit of what it is to be under the influence of alcohol. I have Officer Jesus Garcia here. Officer Garcia, what's going on today?
We got dispatched to a call for service of a traffic accident. The driver was ultimately contacted, and it turns out he had some symptoms with alcohol consumption. So he's going to jail for driving under the influence of while being impaired.
Thank you, Officer Garcia. Stay safe, Oxnard. Take advantage of those right services and designate a driver.
We'll grab a couple more questions here. Is it possible to have a second job while working as a police officer?
Absolutely. One of the advantages of working a patrol shift is we work 3 days a week for 12.5 hours. So you have 4 days off. That's enough time to rest for some people. A lot of officers do have either a secondary job or something they do on the side. Our city allows us to have a secondary employment as long as it is approved by them, as well as nothing that's conflicting. But yes, we do allow a secondary employment.
Is it difficult not being in police mentality on your days off?
Very good question. From doing this job for a few minutes, one thing that I've learned to do is leaving work at work when I go home. I have a lovely wife and 2 beautiful children that I look forward to going home to every day, and I hope the other officers do as well. I'm thankful for the peer support and officer wellness programs that the city and the department provides, but at the same time as working nights and being up all night, it does take a lot of physical and mental toll on yourself, and you have to be mindful of those things too, and trying to find ways to, as I said before, not bring it home with you, especially some of the really sensitive.
Hi, Officer Gray.
Hi, how are you?
Y'all might remember Officer Gray from a ride along earlier this year. Good to see you, bud. We're at a stop of a potential street racer. As a police officer, can you carry a firearm off duty?
Good question. The answer is yes, you can. Our city and policies allow us to carry a approved firearm that we have to qualify with. That's the big thing, is the training. We have to qualify with our secondary or backup weapon at an approved range. So you have to make sure you have a approved type of firearm and the training to go with it.
Why did Sergeant Wood want to become a police officer?
I grew up in Ventura, and I remember in 1989 seeing a Ventura police officer where they let me sit in their patrol unit at the 5 Points car wash. Ever since then, I always had a very keen interest in public safety. I worked as a civilian at 2 different agencies over the several years, and then finally in 2005 I went to the Reserve Academy and graduated from there, where I became a reserve officer with Oxnard, and then shortly after a full-time officer when I went through the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. So I've always had my eye on law enforcement, and never thought I would really end up at a municipal law enforcement, but I absolutely love the city that I serve and the people I
It was so good.
All right, give us some light. Where we at?
So we have the one right here. Right here. That was good. We have 2 up here. We have 1 right here. One right there, and 1 right by his right foot.
Missing a couple.
So I was with Sergeant Wood and Officer Grandy, and we were responding to some suspicious circumstances of a subject down with a head injury. And while we were talking to this subject,
We heard about 6 or 7 casings go off, or I'm sorry, shots being fired, and we were in the corner. I walked in the corner and saw probably about 50 people running from a house. Right now, the investigation's ongoing. We did find some shell casings in the 2500 block of Kelp Street, and we're encouraging anyone who witnessed this incident to please call and report it. Other than that, we wish you guys a very safe night as we continue to protect the streets of Oxnard. Thank you.
well, 5 hours goes just like that on a patrol shift, right?
Absolutely.
But thank you, Sergeant Wood, for taking me along tonight, taking our Instagram community along with you tonight on the patrol shift. And any last messages for our viewers?
A couple things. Be safe out there. Make good decisions. And remember, we are hiring. Come join us today.
Join OxnardPD.com. We'll see you soon.